Welcome back everyone to Racing Reviews. Welcome to 2021. Happy New Year everyone. And I want to start this new year by saying thank you to all of you at home that stuck by me in 2020, that joined the team in 2020. But most importantly, I want to take the time today to say thank you to a very special driver in my life in Formula 1. A driver that will no longer be driving in 2021. A huge thank you to Romain Grosjean, the driver who I have supported since 2012. Formula 1 for me is never quite going to be the same. Watching that race tower, seeing where Romain is in the pecking order, defending him, whether that be on my own channel on YouTube, over on the F1 Word, on Twitter, I always did my best to fight Romain's corner. Through some of the lows, 2018 springs to mind, but also through some of the massive highs. 10 podiums, a points finish, 2 points at Germany this year was awesome to see. And of course, the 2015 Belgian Grand Prix. Many of you already know, but just in case you don't, this Grand Prix, the 2015 Belgian Grand Prix, was the first ever race I attended in the flesh. Sat at the top of Eau Rouge, that by itself was an awesome weekend. I also was on crutches that weekend, so I've got the unique experience of saying I've climbed Eau Rouge on crutches. But that weekend for Lotus, for Grosjean, was something extraordinary. Showing up to that weekend, the bailiffs were there. Would Lotus be racing? Would Grosjean be racing? And for me, a diehard Grosjean fan, that was quite heartbreaking in itself. Fourth in qualifying, by far the best of his season so far. A grid penalty though, I didn't really expect anything magical in the Grand Prix. But goodness me, I was wrong. We were all treated on that day in Spa to a Grosjean masterclass. 9th on the grid, fighting his way back through, and with 2 laps to go, Sebastian Vettel's tyre exploding down the Kemmel Straight. I've never quite felt an audience reaction like it. Everyone in the crowd was so happy for a driver that I often felt I was one of very few that supported. Everyone on their feet, everyone screaming, Grosjean onto the podium. A memorable, super special weekend I for one will never ever forget. And for that moment alone, and from that day onwards, I was always going to support Grosjean right the way through to the end of his career. Of course, his career was cut short, and those scenes in Bahrain is something again I will never ever be able to forget, and I speak on behalf of the entire Formula 1 community in that we are all so thankful Grosjean was able to walk away with minimal injuries in the circumstances. It truly was a modern Formula 1 miracle. However, in 10 years time, however many years into the future, I hope people remember the awesome drives this man was able to pull off on his day, whether that be with Lotus, whether that be with Haas. When this guy was on it, he was very much on it, and there was a time in his career, especially towards the end of 2013, this man was tipped for greatness. The only driver that was able to get anywhere close to Sebastian Vettel in that dominant Red Bull at the end of that season, fighting for victories on several occasions, was so unlucky in the USA, but also what I consider to be Romain's best ever drive in Japan in 2013. A dominant performance. That car just wasn't quite on the level of Red Bull, and as we got into the latter stages, slowly fell away into the clutches of Seb and Mark Webber. The 2015 Belgian Grand Prix, of course, I've got to put that in there as one of Romain's best ever drives, and more recently, the 2018 Austrian Grand Prix, 4th place, has his best ever result as a team. 2019, the Brazilian Grand Prix, that drive was so good, went completely under the radar thanks to an ERS failure at the end of the Grand Prix. He was on it that weekend, was very much on for a big haul of points, but sadly that failure put pay to that. And this season, of course, I'm going to point out the Eiffel Grand Prix, but think about Mugello, involved in all of that carnage, and just kept on going. Relentless, fearless, my favourite driver. Thank you, Romain, so much for being part of my Formula 1 journey. I hope there's more to come, Whether that be through esports, a run in IndyCar, and you all know I would love Romain to one day race in Formula E. However, if he chooses to hang up his boots, that is totally cool with me. Lego content on Instagram, that's a big thumbs up from me, and I was very lucky this Christmas to receive Romain Grosjean's cookbook. An item which is so ridiculously hard to find, but something that meant so much to me. So a second version, yeah, I'd be very much for. Thank you, Romain Grosjean, for your time in Formula 1. Thank you all for watching this video. Have an awesome 2020, an awesome New Year's, and hopefully you can join me for the journey. Thank you guys, and I hope to see you all in the next one.